Pull up a chair and sit on the floor. Admission is free, so pay at the door. Let me tell you a story I've never ever heard before. It all begins one fine day in the middle of the night. Boy, I sure hope I get this right.
Live happy, fun-loving, and carefree.
First Amendment and our freedom of speech. What is going on in the world today? And I don't care if you live in a big city or the suburbs or out here in the country with the chickens and guineas squawking. It doesn't matter what is going on with our freedom of speech. And I'm going to say it right off the bat here. I'm going to make a clarification. I know, freedom of speech, the First Amendment, is about our government infringing on our rights. And it doesn't include each other or corporations, things like that. Like, for example, if you come to my house, I have a right to censor your speech inside my house. I get that. I get that companies have a right to determine what they want to support and what they don't want to support. But this is the bigger picture. This is about our freedom to say and discuss what we want to say. And I just can't believe how quickly things have turned inside out, upside down, backwards, forwards, which is why I said that little, paraphrase that little silly poem at the beginning there, is it's just this Alice in the Looking Glass bizarre world that we're living in. And, when I was young, we all embraced heated discussions. I went to high school and college back in the 70s. I'm one of those boomers. And this is actually kind of funny, but to give you a perspective, just in case you're, a different age group, you're younger or whatever, it's exactly like that TV show, The 70s Show. I mean, that could have been my suburban upbringing. A couple houses up from us, we had a couple, and the husband had that fake afroed permed hair. He wore gold chains, had his ear pierced, and wore those rayon goofy shirts, bright shirts with the big collars, the polyester pants. I mean, he was that stereotype, thought he was a cool guy. Wife all done up, mini skirts, go-go boots, knit sweaters, blouses, tops, never wore a bra back then. It's exactly like that 70s show. And then I'm the teenager that's in the basement doing all those what kind of things. But the point there is, and they also had, you walked in the front door of their house and they had a bar right in the living room. I mean, no kidding. An actual bar right in the middle of the living room. Oh, if only we could go back to the 70s. But my point there is that we could discuss things. And even today, back then, high school, college, we'd stay up all night long having involved discussions, and we would have differences of opinions. And it was okay to talk about things. Even today on social media and that, I have friends that I completely disagree with their opinions. Sometimes I'd like to knock them into next week, if you know what I mean. But they have the right to their opinion, and I have the right to my opinion. And we can still get along, if you will. And like this Spotify thing that's going on, is I don't understand why people today, if somebody, and I've never listened to Joe Rogan, however you say his name. I've never listened to podcasts. I'm too busy doing stuff on the homestead. I'm too busy living my life, happy, fun, loving, and carefree, to listen to any of that. So I've never listened to his podcast. But the fact that people like Neil Young and other people want him off the platform. And the reason I brought up the whole 70s thing there before is, Neil Young and that, I mean, John Fogerty and Creedence Clearwater and Neil Young and him, those people used to speak out against big government and big business and us having rights. And all of a sudden, they flipped over to the other side. It just blows my mind that we're even having that kind of discussion. You know, nobody has to listen to anybody. If you turn something on and they're saying something that you don't want to listen to, change the station, turn the TV off, turn your radio off, turn your computer off, whatever. Go to something else. Well, I don't like what they're saying, or they're saying misinformation or whatever. Who cares? You know, having freedom of speech, having the First Amendment gives us the right to share our opinion, and we have a right to have our opinion be wrong. We've got a right to be stupid. You know, that's our right, and that was recognized by our founding fathers, that, you know, not everybody is going to have the same opinion. And if you want to think the sky is green and the grass is blue, have at it. You know, that's your right. You've got the right to be wrong. And, you know, have a heated discussion. Focus on the activity. You know, don't attack the person personally, which is what's happening now, is I disagree with you, so I'm going to, you know, wring your neck kind of thing. It's just crazy. What do you think, Bonnie? Yeah, that's my opinion too. I'm wringing their necks. But, so, you know, you believe what you want to believe. Pay attention to people with different opinions on things. We can't just silence everybody that thinks and speaks differently than we do. And again, it doesn't matter if you're in the city, the suburbs, out in the country. We've all got to get along. We've all have the right to our freedoms of speech, our freedoms of choices. And if you want to make the wrong choice, that's your right. I'm not going to stop you. I might suggest you do something different, but, you know, again, it's all getting along. All of us just holding hands and singing Kumbaya, even if we feel like slapping the person next to us into next week. It's just, that's the way that it is. That's my opinion. I hope you think the same way, that we've just, you know, discussions is how we get better in life. Is we can't just live with everybody that thinks and speaks exactly the same of us. Otherwise, things don't change. If you keep doing the same thing over and over, you're going to keep getting the exact same results. If we want a better humanity, if we want to make advances in the sciences or whatever, we've got to be able to have discussions and say, well, what do you think about that? And, well, why do you think that? Well, I think this. Well, you're a dumbass for thinking that. Well, then, you know, but you have the discussion, and then you hug each other at the end and you know, go have dinner at the restaurant or whatever, or have your barbecue. You don't have to live completely separate lives and spend all your time trying to shut everybody down and threatening people that you don't agree with. So that's how I live, happy, fun-loving, and carefree, letting you do all the dumb things that you want to do, and me just saying, hey, have a great day.